Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite warlock here, practicing necromancer. And today I kind of want to talk to you about some things that will help you to either be victorious in the things that you do, the magics that you employ, and or find defeat within everything that you do. Okay? And I think that it really plays to pay attention to these things. Number one, it does not matter if you are in the workforce, basically being on the job and or running a business within occultism. You could be working for somebody or be associated with a number of different groups. Okay, let's say the TST, the Satanic Temple, perhaps the Church of Satan, or say the Temple of Feminine Divine, the Pagan Pride Association, the Temple of Astarte or Set, whatever. Okay. It does not matter the location. Okay. The first thing you need to understand is those in charge have a false state of authority. Okay. Their ego is fickle, it is very fragile. These people can get butthurt very, very easy. So, to keep them happy, it is best not to outshine the master. Okay. Now, what do I mean by outshining the master? Let's say, for an example, you do what I do, and you are a dietary aide. You're the chief dietary aide. You're fourth in command of the kitchen. And let's say, for an example, the chef has a certain, let's call it interior, okay? Or exterior, I should say, persona. Okay, he likes a certain thing to be done a certain way. Say, for an example, he likes a smooth running kitchen. He likes things being on time. He likes cleanliness. Stress, is no good in that situation. Okay. Now, he likes to be in charge or she likes to be in charge. Okay. So let them take the heat. Okay, from the upper management, the corporation, human resources, whatever, whoever they report to, let them be, let them think that they're in control because you, as the practitioner, have two states here. Number one, you're mastering your craft. Okay, let's say, for example, you're doing all the prep work, you're doing all the cooking. You're making sure the trash is out. You're making sure that everything is aligned for the chefs. Okay. In this state, let's take a prime example. EA quitting. One of the biggest things that I've been seeing online, especially here on YouTube, is a lot of people are wondering, is he going to make another account here? Is he going to put forth more videos? Okay. When is he going to get back on Facebook or social media? Well, here's the thing. If you actually did your homework and studied your opponent, especially that person that you idolize, then you would realize that he is on a page called Odyssey. Okay. This is where he's doing his videos now. But he's still running his page, How to Become a Living God, and he's still running it like a tyrant. That type of personality does not change. Okay? So therefore, when you look at how Bulk ran in the past, everybody succeeded because they let him think he was in charge. Okay? And it was always best to conceal the intentions, your intentions, until it's too late. Okay? Always say less than what is necessary. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. And win through actions. Win through actions, not through arguments. Okay? Now, let's just take a moment here and kind of look at this house of cards. Bog was perhaps one of the most successful groups out there. They were flashy, they put out a lot of content. Didn't matter if it was corrupted or if it was like a child state of authorship. Okay? You can call yourself a master. You can call yourself an elder, one of the world's leading black magicians. Anybody can use the term black, dark, or whatever. It's just a title. Okay? So by doing what the boss wants, you are in fact not outshining him. Okay? His ego was literally fragile. It was ready to break. It could break and shatter at any moment. So when BBC News went out and did that one story, that's all it took. One story. Okay? And that entire house of cards came crashing down. Alistair Notch, Alistair Notch called it the age of Lucifer. Okay? The eon of Lucifer, which is enlightenment. Okay? Now, here's the kicker about that. He said, and I'm going to quote this: "We live in a time when the pen is mightier than the sword. The sword used to be what cut people down. Now it is the word. It is that pen." Okay? So therefore, by concealing your intentions, you're really doing more damage than, well, it's worth. So look at it this way. He chose to stay silent, to keep that shroud of mystery going. Wrong choice. Saying less than what is necessary can be a good thing, but it can also be a devastating effect, depending on the case by case scenario. In his case, it was the wrong choice, okay? Because he made a lot of people come to him. He made a lot of people communicate about it, come wondering what is going on with E.A. Guedes. Why did he not get in touch with BBC News? Why is he not sticking up for his reputation? Because if you think about it, reputation is everything. Defend it with your life, okay? But ego and pride is a dangerous combination. The fall of Lucifer. There's a lot of texts out there that show just how pride can be devastating, okay, if it is not kept in check. There's a lot of things that show ego as being a healthy thing, especially when it's going after the desired lusts of the world, okay? But you have to even keep that in check. And when you put both of those in the same category, well, fall of bulk, prime example, yet again. And even though he made a lot of people curious and made a lot of people go after him and lust after his materials, where is that today? Look at what happened after that one card was put into play. The band broke up. Orly Stewart went her own way. Curtis Joseph went his own way. S. Ben Cayenne went his own way. S. Ben went his his own way a long time ago, but still, even as an F. Mason and Bill Duveneck went their own way. I think from what I've seen to this day is J.D. Temple is perhaps one of the only ones that's outside of J.S. Garrett that bring E.A. Wedding onto their shows. Now, what's interesting here is that even though that one accusation caused all this drama, caused all of this, the kicker is all it was an accusation. An accusation is perhaps one of the most devastating half truths or half lies or even full on lie that a news outlet can do. All they have to do, because people want drama, they want chaos, they want to be told and led what to believe. So by pointing the finger at E.A. Koetting because an individual nutcase decided to go on a killing spree, he frequented bog forums. He frequented this Islamic militant group that supposedly operates here in America. I don't know anything about them, so I can't really discuss that. All they did was point the finger and show a possible dot. And then you got these so-called experts that they brought in to reinforce that possible half truth, to make it believe that he was responsible for this ingrate's actions. That's all it was. So when we're looking at victory or defeat, you never outshine the master. You always want to conceal your intent. Being flashy, being out there doing what E.A. Koetting was doing, you know, it kind of reminds you of what Peter H. Gilmore always did when it came time for the Black Mass. You'd always have these Christians standing at all the corners surrounding the warehouse where the members of the Church of Satan was going to meet for that Black Mass. Again, we saw this with the Satanic Temple, with the unveiling of the Baphomet statue. Placing a Baphomet statue next to the Ten Commandments, do you not think that was not going to anger somebody? You see, where I am right now, there is a number of locations that you could open up a religious foundation if so desired. And it would be acceptable because of the fact that it falls under a protected religion, okay, the First Amendment. But here's the thing, knowing the location or picking a location for such an event takes planning, it takes strategy. Because if you want life or death, victory or defeat, you have to strategically place your pawns, if you will, on the board in a strategic setting. When you go into a territory, you look at your opponent, your enemy. In this case, let's say the JCI, the Judo Christian Institution. This is Catholics, mainstream Christians, Hebraic systems, Judaic systems, Islamic groups. Okay, they've ruled for over 1,000 years because they have butchered, slaughtered, and lied to get to the top and remain at that top. There's an old expression which says that you could place a druid, a necromancer, a shaman, and a mage in the same room, and they could talk for hours or until they decide not to talk anymore, respectfully. But you put any one of these other mainstream JCI perspectives together, these groups, it's going to be complete chaos. It's going to be anarchy. They're going to be accusing each other. They're going to attack each other. They can't even get along. Okay? So, how do you run an organization knowing that your greatest friend could be your one-time enemy? Okay? If you have an enemy, it is best to keep that enemy close by because he's already been your enemy. He knows it's not wise to stand up against you. But your friends, they can become enemies. They can point fingers at you. They can hit you where it counts. It's like family. They know how to hurt you. In this case, we're going right back to the events of the House of Cards. Ball. That one little accusation. I wonder who started that. This was never revealed. But yet it set the stages for all of these other groups to get on here and go, I think he's being set up. This is an injustice. Oh, it's a good thing. I think works like what he's putting through is dangerous. You see, they put out enough, just enough to get that ball rolling, to keep people interested, suspicious, and most importantly, keeping that shroud of mystery. And that's all she wrote when it came to Balk. But how did Balk survive? Couple loyal friends. It's always wise to say, there's an old saying, I'd rather have one true friend than 1,000 backstabbers. Hmm. Never outshine the master. Conceal your intentions. Always say less than necessary. And make people come to you. Keep the bait. Ironic how that played out, isn't it? But yet, all E.A. Quetting did was sit back. After the breakup of the original band, he did one chaotic video, and everybody ate it up. Everybody ate it up. Didn't matter if it was good, bad, or anything. But publicity is good, no matter bad or evil, or good. He's still putting out books. He's still putting out material. I believe he just put out a new book with Connor Kendall, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, what he just did was, instead of arguing, he won through action. Now, taking this as an example, taking this as an example, how can you take these examples and turn them into fruitful benefits? How can you learn from these events? A man who does not learn from history is doomed to repeat it. Well, let's look at this. Number one, being flashy and outspoken doesn't get you ahead of the ball, doesn't get you ahead of the curve. It will lead you to a point, but eventually you're going to get knocked down a peg or two, especially if you relax, especially if you're prideful or boastful. Even Bokor Leonard Emira spoke on this. Where are you now, EA Koretic? Ow. Ironically, I watched that video, by the way, and it was kind of amusing how he was dead on. But learn from this. Sit back, learn to be patient. Hide your true intent. If you want to become a manager, if you want to be successful, don't play into the public. Don't be a part of the public, because you cannot be a part of the public and do what we do. It just don't happen that way. It does not happen that way. It's weird how it happens. Years ago, when I was studying to become a minister for the occult, for Satanism nonetheless. Ironically, I stopped being a Satanist and started being a necromancer full time about 5 years ago. But here's the funny thing. My teacher at the time, he was an evangelist. He told me two key things. Ministers come from two sources: a school where you spend thousands of dollars learning to become a minister, or you learn from a minister. More ministers come from other ministers than from the schools. This is why tuition is so expensive. $54 to $57,000 just for 4 years. That's ludicrous. But when this man became a pastor of the local parish, everything changed. He stopped being honest. He stopped being pure. He stopped being friends and sociable with his flock that he was supposedly there with. He started hanging out with only the elders. And when he got associated with a bishop from another church, a sister church, that's when it went from being dishonest to literally, how should I say this, flat out betrayal. He stopped being true to himself. This is E.A. Quetting's problem to a fault. And a lot of individuals do this. When they start getting this success, they get to that point and then it's just a downhill spiral. So many people get caught up in trying to be popular, trying to be something that they're not. There's no humbleism. There's no education. They stop putting out facts. They stop putting out the truth, and they just start playing into that propaganda. And then you wonder why everybody in the left-hand path is attacking each other. 90% of them are Satanists of one denomination or another. They're acting just like Christians, the JCI. Bald, when they broke up, the accusations started going. I believe at one point there was a video that was actually put forth of J.S. Garrett threatening his wife and saying flat out that he would rather have the dog rather than his wife. Ouch! That that hurts. I mean, you look at what that woman did for this man. Got him a sword, got him some guns, kissed his ass up one side down the other, and this is how he treats her. And this was in his own words. It was a recorded voice message, basically. That doesn't say much for him. So if that's the way Bald is going to be run or was run, especially after that accusation took place, everybody trying to outshine each other. I want nothing to do with that. I want nothing to do with these types. I'm content with being me. Just like Bella here is literally content being her. But you see the point. Popularity, ego, and pride. The three greatest hindrances of any practitioner. It doesn't matter what religion, does not matter what philosophy you follow. It is why you should take these things to heart. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not telling you what to pick and uh, go for. No. What I'm telling you is that there are ways to be successful and ways to fall into defeat. If you want victory, don't play somebody else's game. In fact, don't give them the satisfaction of even any form of acknowledgement. You see, I have this one enemy who pops his head up every so often. I really could care less what he does. But I get these people coming to me, hey, do you know what our friend is doing? Do you know what he's saying? Do you know what he's doing? They're sending me photos and all this stuff. And in a sense, I'm making people come to me. They're playing his game, but yet they're coming to me and realizing, oh, well, if this is the case, he's defeating himself. He's an idiot. You see, I have all the proof. His own words defeat him. So these people come to me, hey, is it true what he's saying about you? Well, this is my conversation with him. This is the conversation other people have had with him. Why would I want to argue a mute issue with people? Not going to happen. Here's a photo. Even S. Conley told me once, you can only put stuff out so many times before you just simply share a video. You want to know about this? Here's a video. Ah, no arguing, no pride, no ego, no nothing. Here's the conversation. You see, you're not getting a bunch of people attacking each other. It's called being an adult. An adult. Too bad so many on social media today want to be popular. They want to be popular. They want to be something that they have not earned. They have not earned their titles. Anybody can go out and get ordained. Let's say, for an example, the Universal Life Monastery or some other ordained foundation that will just you just pay them 40, 50 bucks. Oh, I have a minister's license now. No, it's taken me 4 years. 4 years of learning how to be a minister. It's taking me a decade of intense study and practice, applying the gnosis of what I've learned of psychology, of theology, of philosophy, and numerous other applications of the traditions that I have been initiated into, that I have delved into, both through study, practice, and experimentation on a full-time dedicated tradition, pathway. Wow. And you have these people going out there going, oh, aren't you this or this, whatever? No. Win by action, not by argument. I put forth truth. I put my ordinations right there for everybody to see. Most recently, I became an archbishop. Christianized me. True, but I'm not Christian. Nor will I ever be. That that tradition is dead. It's no good. It's foobar, as the military would call it. Foobar. So, with that said, I want you to take these key points. Never outshine the master. Conceal your intentions. Always say less than what is necessary. Make other people come to you, even if you have to use bait. And win through action, not through argument. But I want you to remember two key things that I have personally lived my life by. Always make sure that you back up what you're saying with numerous, numerous facts, sources, references, and always make yourself available to the public. Because you don't just answer to the spirits and the entities that you work with as an ambassador of them. You also represent yourself in them to the people. So whatever you say to the people, you are responsible and reliable for. Okay? Now, a lot of times you'll notice that some people will say we are not held liable for this, that, or whatever. And that's it. In that case, you are considered to be protected because you're not reliable for somebody else's actions. That's a whole nother concept. It's like plagiarism, if you will. How many times have you seen regurgitated materials, corrupted materials? So just keep that in mind. All right. But if you want victory, the best way to do it, be yourself. Don't play somebody else's game. Don't play the public's game. No one to speak and no one to say nothing. But if somebody does come to you, share evidence. That's it. Have a good one.